Yeah, that's part of what I mean. There's too many fucking conversations going on. And so you can't keep up with any conversation because, oh, there's 700 fucking new chats. I ain't reading that. I'll quickly skim, but I'm not reading that many damn chats. So this is the prequel to the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. And you can see where they get some inspiration and Easter eggs for it. I love this court music. There's dramatic court music. Dun 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 dun. So we're on case 7, so out of 9 or 10. Alright, so we had nothing else left, so that's me. Can you tell us what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Naruto Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you helping me out on that cursed case yesterday. Yeah, he just literally got acquitted of murder. Found not guilty. And to get fucking accused the next day. Even though the guy's not dead, but he's still getting accused of fucking murder. Time to get some content. Alright, man. I'll be here. I'm gonna try to keep going because last time I was just so tired, but not that bad today. Especially since this is the only day I play this game. Because I want to drag it out as long as I can. In that case, saw the poor old Miss Green hospitalized as she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that it was only yesterday. Especially since this is a flashback. After the trial was over, my tragedy went weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And at evening, at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamspeare. Not Shakespeare, Shamspeare. Even though he does Shakespeare plays. So, you did go to the victim's room then. And, as we feared, I didn't do anything wrong. Never been to his room before. It was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? What's up, Hope? Yes, we have a bar of soap and other shit here. I bumped into him when I arrived at the house. We got chatting and developed a discussion. Alright, let's see if anyone else is on our... Someone is on. Just relaxing, Eddie. I won't join that for now. Maybe someone else joins. I got bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and then developed a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That time, though, Mr. Gary Deb said the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening, around 9 or so. Or just after. When I took him a nice tea I brewed as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that clearly had been drunk at the scene then. And I suppose you were all discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet. And who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate. I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject. Shakespeare! And the debate became very heated so you slipped poison into Mr. Shamspeare's tea. What? Like, no, never. Not at all. Team Juliet won. That was me. And when I left his room, the flamboyant yellow was fighting a fit, I swear. Categorically. his cursed existence. Mr. Natsumi, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. Sure, I mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now. And in that time, I learned that there's no place for me. That's true. It can be very tiring to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. You're not helping, Suzaku. And these foreigners everywhere I look, they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. Makes me scared to leave my room. Just punch him in the face. And she's just smiling happily. Which is why I become a recluse. Leaving my room, I have no respite for my fears. Moved more times than I can remember. And then, 1 week ago, I moved into the Briar Road. But why? I mean, why would you choose that place? It doesn't seem very, comfortable. Because I rented cheap. Yeah, so little money. It spoke to me. It spoke to you. That as well as being haunted. The rent? Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room was cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. Oh no! He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead. No one could explain the reason. He probably suffocated from the shitty pipes leaking in. Surely no one want to live in a room with a history like that. Surely no one want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the letting agent recommend the place, I wavered. But I want books. Books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. When it would mean I would buy more books, I signed a lease like lightning. Brave or blinkered. After I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible the room's history really was. Gosh, was it really so awful? Oh, no. How did the room's history affect you, Mr. Narasume? What happened? Why are you about ready to throw him? At first, it was just a feeling. A feeling of beady eyes pouring into the back of my head, watching me. You think that might have just been your mind playing tricks on you? Obviously. No. My mind don't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare. Versus also giving the keys to that place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? Well, all the souls who died in that room leaned over me in my seat. And he tried to strangle me. That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shamsby was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room. It's a gas leak. From a shitty house, a shitty, very old house. You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible. Yeah, you're right. I know it, and that's why. I raised searching for the next room in the history to call home. I think perhaps you should try avoiding accommodations of any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you may become history. Now you're just realizing. Oof, so Zalo-san sure knows how to make a man listen. This didn't tell us much. Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse of the room as well. Is he now? You mean Mr. Garrett? Yes, he knows that people keep that in there. He'll never be able to read it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near that place. Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? No. He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas from the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his room. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh, dear, no. It's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget anything I said. Why are you shouting at me, Susato? He's wondering. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back, as well. Yep. You basically are, because you're not telling him. What's important is that Mr. Champier isn't dead at all, in fact. Once he comes around, he's able to tell us what happened. We'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. I hope you're right. Excuse me. Excuse me. Inspector Gregson. I couldn't help but overhear what you just said. And on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh. What you want first? Always, every time. Bad news first. If hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right. In that case, it'd be the good news. Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me your preference? Why did you ask me my preference? As a matter of fact, the victim, Mr. Shamshire, is unconscious. He's coming around now. Yeah, we saw that happen in all this terrifying glory. He's still being treated at the doctor's. Now, we might as well get a written statement from him already. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume? My goodness, it's over then. I can leave the somber cell. Sonny, no. That's not in the cuts. What? Why ever not, Inspector? Mr. Chancery has implicated someone in being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't mean... I'm sorry to say I do. Yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Ah! My sweet poison knife did the think of the end of my life. That wicked caitiff, Soseki Natsume. No! I'm afraid you'll be appearing in accordance planned. We want to make unnecessary preparations. No! And so once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dock at the Old Bailey. Whether this room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. Following day, I would be representing him in court, the uttermost to break the curse that blighted him. I love this music. Ah, part 2 is done. Do we get the court? Yep, trial part 1. Why is it fast forwarding? 22nd February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. Seems like to get chills on my spine and break out of a nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I don't think we'll be back here. Didn't think we'd be back here so soon. That's my name. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Natsume. 22 days ago that you declared not guilty here. Yes, because I'm managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now it is. Another morning, another murder. And here I am again with this hole. Can't keep coming to court. I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem like he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Yes, good morning. Morning. So, here we are again. Yes, again. She's avoiding talking to him. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Greetings, Miss Mikotaba Esquire. What's the bad news? Oh dear, you heard, didn't you? No shit. If you gave me shouting at the hope, can't help but hear what you say. No shit. Oh, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong, Mrs. Sato. What is it? Mal. Well, it seems that the prosecution today's trial will be led by Lord Baron Van Zeeks, the Reaper once again. Van Zeeks? Ah! Oh no! No, no, no! The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. And try to illegally pursued and I relentlessly. Sadly, we can't make the screen, the text go way to take that screenshot of the actual picture. Not like we could in Phoenix, right? Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter after all. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. The Legend of Reaper says, nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Seeks is the prosecutor. I know. Watch is fully charged. That even if the person is found not guilty, the accused will certainly be the mysterious end, one way or another. We experienced it firsthand. No, not really. It wasn't his fault. We found that out in the last episode. In the last episode of the first game / series. But this is back in time, though. The man we successfully defended missed the most terrifying end of his acquittal, right in the Old Bailey. I had to put up with those ice cold eyes boring into my soul again. Pretty much. Crisp evil spirits, now by the Reaper. Bear, a petrifying, perils, potentially. Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume. Welcome soon, Mr. Naruto Esquire. Yes? I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You, more than anyone else, though. Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move to the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. Afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean. He's back in the hospital recovering. That's probably for the best. Oh! The viewer here might be tempted to rely on his help. That could be seen as weakness. If Lord Van Seeks were noticed, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo! You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, Mr. Locum's doing Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said. That annoyed the shit out of her because she basically loves him. This extremely wrong and bullshit stories of the Sherlock Holmes. I swear by this sword on my side and the spirit of Kazuma that harbors, I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free. With honor. Oh, yes. Hey, before my brother's birthday. 22nd February, 9:40 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. It's the same fucking jury! It's the same motherfucking jury. Alright, so 3 people are quickly recognized. Let me refill my water. And if you can see back in the kitchen, yes, I did fill my water bottle up and drink some soda instead. Alright, let's begin the trial. Alright, still have stuff we're tracking here. Having examined Miss Green's bottle before it falls from the table. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Judge voice from the first game. I now call upon the counsels of the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Prosecute. I never really had a voice for him. The prosecution's ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my lord Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is a throat lozenge. This is my Batman voice from the recent movies against Bane and stuff. Does anyone have a throat lozenge? What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. No. Is it just my imagination? It's not just my imagination. It's really there. Lord Van Zeeks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. Yep, we found out partially why. You know, some time ago that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. Past few years he hasn't appeared in court at all. And yet now he's back in the courtroom for some reason when there's Japanese lawyers. Only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain of us Japanese, is a prosecutor's shrouded in mystery. Well, at least he doesn't have a fucking eye goggle whatever thing. Taught him back. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. had to concentrate on Saseki-san's trial. Furthermore, I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? It's the fucking banker. Again. That's the banker from the beginning. Absolutely. I'm not gonna make a voice for all of them. I'll do a male and female voice. Absolutely. I feel this Larkin wasn't innocent before. Miss Little Bo Peep. I must say I feel especially ruthless these days when my hat refuses to sit tight. It's not the guy with the goggles. No, that's the Hatter. I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think it was ruthless look. I think the ruthless look as well is very fetching, actually. No, that's the Mad Hatter. The Hatter or the guy with the fucking the goggles. This is new. I need you to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. Hey, the worker. Couldn't agree more. I need to take on 5 bob tonight, or Mrs. will go through the roof. She'll spank me and do more. And that guy from the previous trial with Saseki-san. Oh, may the Lord show us the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. The British jury system is so different from our own, isn't it? Well, you don't have a jury. It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public. The judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. With some minor exceptions here, it's more or less the same. 6 citizens of London, chosen at random, at least that's the idea. Prosecution might draw attention to the prosecution will draw attention to the fact that the accused was in trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where impossible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty. Have been asked. Why is the point of that, sir? Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zeeks, your opening statement, please. Defense, fuck you, you don't get one. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded this eccentric Japanese before has had dire consequences. You say it like he's a fucking murderer. That's about it. Did the accused repent his wrongdoings in the affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate the most blood-curdling crime. Namely, that the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. You Londoners are not English. I mean, innocent. Well, you barely get English too. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. The victim. The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Accused? Witnesses, your name and occupations, please. Yes, sir. The body is Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Saseki-san of the Empire of Japan. Come and order me to come here as a student. Study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm
I'm not mistaken, that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again.
Well, he didn't want to fucking come here. He didn't do anything to come here.
I remember as if it were yesterday, but it was the day before.
The day before, in fact, my lord. But close enough. Believe me. This is the last place I want to be. This is the last place I want to be. No. Believe me. This is the last place I want to be. Not my... Let's go into my British voice. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case to the court. Right, you are, sir. The incident occurred at the Garden household with the incident occurred at the Garden household. The defendant had lodgings. The ground floor of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the room at the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in the room as a result of poisoning by strychnine. He was on the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. I was the one who broke down the door, or rather, Natsume was.
This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident.
Don't bite. I'm just gonna say hi. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry or exit of the room impossible. There you go, I'm cleaning the curtain from your eyes. There you go. No biting. No biting or I'll hold you for real. Correct, my lord. Correct, my lord. The door is locked from the inside, making entry or exit in the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Hamspire lives in the to tell the tale, he really nearly didn't. That man was halfway to heaven when we found him first. No, you just said he was dead. That was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photograph of print here who took the time to show it how it looked.
Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. And I'm sure, like a dumbass, you assume that too.
What do you got there, Herb? Yeah, you can play with that. That's right. Everyone believed that exactly he was what he was.
Very well. I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court.
Crime scene photograph has been recorded. Photograph print taken the scene of the victim, and upon arrival, the victim appears to be unconscious on the table, having been poisoned. And he just recovered magically on his own.
Now then, Mr. Natsume.
Yes?
As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture?
They're haunted by spirits.
Good gracious, what's haunted?
My lodgings. The whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. Woman was stabbed, but no one else was outside the street. My neighbor has been poisoned, and me. What about me? Nearly killed countless times.
Killed Mr. Natsume how?
You know, that fateful night it happened. Turned to Mr. Shapspire's room, lit my gas stove, and climbed on my bed. Before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me.
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume.
It's so cold. My running nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed?
Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamsar, regained consciousness after his ordeal. He has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered by a cup of tea that he drank from the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief!
Well, he drank from me. He's perfectly fine.
Order! Order! Order in the head! Futurama. I'll never let it die.
Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. So if Zeki-san is innocent, then why is the victim accusing him? And how is he poisoned? Because Natsume isn't poisoned.
Well, Mr. Natsume, what did you say of this accusation?
That evening, yes. I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Chancery room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I brought the boiled water especially to make it. The result, I'll never touch the tea again. Never. The public funnel was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before.
That'll do. Thank you. Thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses at least once. Therefore, I'll call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. Presume the prosecution has no objection.
Then whatsoever, my lord.
Good. Then give me your account and events in the night in question in court now.
Yes, my lord. Witness testimony. The catastrophic night. Give me some chocolates. Racist. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor. Took some tea with him, me as a gift. Yeah, he lively literary debate over the nice hot drink. After which I went back to my room around 11. My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, couldn't he? Uh-huh. Very valid point. Since we're also not aboard a ship. Stacktime takes time. Takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't just get over it immediately after taking it. How come he didn't die? The victim would have been able to lock the door and his guest left. The argument stands.
Ah, yes, I see it's all relatively straightforward.
Excuse me, but that testimony raises one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea has been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? Well, it happens, no. We haven't been able to. That's your crucial piece of evidence, motherfucker.
Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspected substance?
How could you overlook something so important? That's the first thing you should have done. I learned that anybody's friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It was the whole crux of the case. Point stands though. Unable. Why? It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. And the fact that, you can't examine it if there's no drops left. You can't just wipe the inside. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test the poison under such circumstances. Your limited 19th century technology. You only need a drop, but that one drop actually does exist, funny enough. Well, how do you know it's a poison then? The lack of examination notwithstanding. Appears nothing other than a tea passed the victim's lips in the inquest. So how do you know he's poisoned?
I see. Thank you. The matter is clear.
Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? Nani? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure, the recognition of the accused's guilt. They're just kind of waiting. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He is right. I can feel all 6 jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. The catastrophic night. So at 9 o'clock that evening, when I visited my neighbor, took some tea as a gift. I bet you it's the pipes. All the pipes are leaking and poisoning them. You and your neighbor were good friends then. No. We weren't friends. Not at all. Not at all. Never. Ever. Simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Champsier fancies himself as a great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, Miss. No need for needs to understand the finer points of English literature. Racist indeed. And I didn't question what was the topic of the conversation as well, I presume. That was the topic of the conversation. It was on the day of my last trial, and I was acquitted. I just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Chancellor outside the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was way out of the time, though. So I promised to visit the room that evening around 9 to continue the debate. But did I have ill intentions? No! Not one! Not two! Not any! Not at all! Never! Ever! A simple no would have sufficed, I feel. Then tell the court what did happen when you visited Victor's room. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink. Went back to my room around 11. Nah, never mind it. I'll reply later. Excuse me. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink. After which I went back to my room. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare? Ah, very wordy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh yes, Miller. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable party. I'm not even looking at you, so why did you unlock? Romeo and Juliet? Who was the stronger? I know I'm going to regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. So we battled it out. In a Greco-Roman style, naturally. What? Nani? Mr. Shakespeare had all sorts of customs in the room for such a contest. So when you say reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? He was Romeo, I was Juliet. After the rigorous wild tussle, I, as Juliet, came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. I dare not imagine the terrible scenes of carnage. The fact remains that That was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? Boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take it with me. Or he was too poor to make tea himself, you know? You see? It's true, there was no signs of tea leaves in the man's room. Why don't you do something nice? Be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me like such suspicion? Tea was harmless. Of course it was.
Do you have any basis for that statement, witness?
Well, he's fine, isn't he? Ah, my tea was completely harmless. Couldn't have been locked. He could have locked the door behind it otherwise, right? Exactly. If the tea was harmless, he didn't have anything wrong with him, did he? Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone who would have to think the fellow would have never had a pot before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would need to analyze it for poison. And you say they return around to your room, home to your room around 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume. Yes, definitely. But heaven and earth, I swear. The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed the defendant went back to his room at 11 at night.
And how is the landlord able to attest this?
He said it was the lamps, I believe.
The lamps, Inspector.
When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Champ's room. I know that for certain. Must have locked the door himself from inside the room. The victim is confirmed to be of the case, yes. So I'm right. I think it was harmless. Completely harmless. If they poison, you die. Everyone knows that. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean? Strychnine takes time to take effect on the body. People don't just kill over immediately. I'm thinking, well, how do you know it's even strychnine? How do you know? That is the question. This is the gift from the teacups from Mr. Natsume was drinking. Yes, like the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean. Must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. He always gulps it down, too. He always goes, sorry, Mr. Number One. Well, you sip a little by little, it goes cold. Clearly, I shall instruct you in the proper way to take tea. Pair of teacups. The Shaspire and Natsume, there was no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. This would be the cup that Mr. Shampspeare was drinking from then. Stay on the inside. Tea does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea. Oh, really? I've never noticed it before. You never noticed? Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it? Oh dear, so many people seem to have the wrong idea of our culture. And most of them are Japanese. Can't even see photograph. There's a puddle on the floor there. And the soap that fucking he hates soap. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they? Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed. Whoosh. How do you know it's not from the... Actually, yeah. You could open it facing it forward, though. Miss Susato. I think perhaps someone's bringing too much of the adventures of Herlock shown. You can never read too much of it, Mr. Naruto. Never! Just a tip. Bar of soap again. Oh! What is it, Mr. Naruto? This bar of soap. When we first found it, it could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in the depression here. Reddish one. Oh yes, you're right. Remember too. But now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc have gone? Bar of soap. Cheap bar of soap that was discovered outside of Mr. Shaftesbury's window. Little reddish medallion from the center has mysteriously vanished. It's in your pocket, right? So it should be in your fucking pocket. It was in your goddamn pocket. The nearby street map. The lodgings are still the same spot. This is the map from before. The book receipt for the 3 books that he bought. And the armband. I'm right thinking these scales are a symbol of defense, aren't they? They're supposed to symbolize treating everyone equally and fairly. That's why it's always in the middle and balanced. Equal measures on both sides. At least whenever I see a set of scales, I can only think of the enormous scales of justice. That's entirely understandable. They are a very powerful symbol of courtroom, aren't they? The thing about the scales of justice is they're always leaning one way or the other. They're only ever in balance right at the start. Must be something peculiar to the British. I can't shed any light on it, Mr. Naruto. Kazuma-sagi. Where you find embroidery here shows the name of the armband's owner. In this case, Kazuma-sagi. He's carrying my best friend's hopes and dreams with this around my right arm just here. All the time. To be honest, it's something that weighs very heavily on me. Oh, I didn't realize it was such a burden, Mr. Naruto. Yeah, I think that's why my right shoulder aches so much. Yep, literal burden. Are you sure that's not to do with your reading in bed or the like? Alright, we got some new facts. None of it means anything right now. How long does it take for the symptoms to appear then? And how do you fucking know it's strychnine? According to the coroner I was speaking with on the yard, about 30 minutes after the explosion, poison consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping, and stiffness. It eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between the poison ingesting and the onset of symptoms. Seems a lot of different types of poison in the world then, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Clearly long enough for the victim to have locked in the door behind the accused after he left. Can't deny that. And it further degrades Uzaki-san's alibi. I read the medical report of the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. Spells it out really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well, the court will accept this report to the court record as evidence. Victim's report has been entered to the court record. Report of Scotland Yard's medical officer obviously mentions the poison as well as the details. Well, how do you know he's poisoned if you don't have a drop of the fucking poison? Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. William Shamspeare, 31, victim. Cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine.
Toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with tea that the victim was drinking. No sample could be obtained for testing. Indicative conclusions. The poisoning occurred around 1:30 a.m. on 21st of February. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have been broken and the man collapsed under the late onset of symptoms. No container of the poison was found at the scene. Oh, that's right, there's no letter now. Great. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guests left. The argument stands. Hello, how you doing? I don't want to say anything, but you know who you are. Thank you for the lurk. If you don't mind me saying anything, then just let me know. I can talk to you. Should you actually be here? The argument stands, you say. That's what Mr. Asuma has been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was any poison in it, the victim would have been able to lock the door and the accused left it later on. Exactly. Me and my tea are innocent. Sweet innocent, I tell you. I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for the symptoms to appear. So you left the room up in 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. Well, he drank tea too. As long as he did that, Mr. Shamsire could have locked the door after you'd gone. But no. We drank the tea straight away. I.e. we, meaning both of them. Battle over water, Romeo and Juliet was stronger. That came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? My great homeland, the Empire of Japan. We have a saying. Drink the tea while it's hot. Sure, a proverb that will satisfy the prosecution. Right, there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there is sufficient grounds to infer his guilt of the matter. No. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruto? Of course, go ahead. Asuma is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently. Inspector Gregson just brushes away what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. We need to find a consistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. Afraid, as things stand, the jurors are to find Mr. Asuma guilty. I see we need to focus on the poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully to the testimony again. Yes. Ah. I know what we have to present. Now that we examine the tea set, nope. The last statement contradicted this evidence. Undeniably. Let's just say it's undeniable, counsel, but I fail to see any contradiction at all. I think perhaps itself is a contradiction. Indeed. Time for rethinking. And it wasn't the one I was thinking of originally. No?
Perhaps I'm jumping too far. Oh, the evidence is based on the pocket watch, right? Actually, we can use that evidence against him. The argument stands, you say. I think not, Inspector. Come again? I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. What? What are you talking about? What are you on about? According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Eh? Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. Ew. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Asuma had brought to the victim's room, how did the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 hours after the defendant left? Yeah! Yep. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zieks? And he starts with the fucking cup. He starts with the goddamn cup. Whoosh. Or no. Smash. Whoosh. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would be best to complement the contents of this my hell chas this luncheon. How could it have happened, you ask? Psh. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Japanese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. Phantom? It's hard to imagine the victim drank his tea after the accuser left. For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, around 1:30. Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there is a well-known saying, drink the tea while it's hot. And in my country, there is an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than a cold tea. Huh? The point is, if there was such a long gap, there'd be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities.
What sort of possibilities, Consul?
Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend, from someone that has nothing to substantiate it. Or the victim could have taken the poison on his own volition. You have no proof he didn't.
You suggest that this may have been a suicide, Consul.
Mr. Shamsbury has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. Weak flap. But he could be lying. Easy counter. Well,
there's something wrong, Lord Van Zieks.
I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Carriage? What carriage? Nani carriage?
It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived.
Hold it.
And that is... Out! Out! Brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets this hour upon stage, and then is heard no more. Mr. Shakespeare. This is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
What was this one? Compulsions, cringing, and 14 for Genshin. Who, sir, are you? Why are you prancing in my courtroom?
William Shakespeare, my lord. Unless I was undone by these bitter events, I am the victim.
What?
What is he doing here? There. Men in tights. The prosecutor seeks to call this gentleman to the stand.
He already made his way to the stand without your help.
With his testimony, my learned friend's feudal resistances will be utterly crushed.
You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I will grant your request of interest. Curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale the tale of my woe, my lord. But it's not my own tale to tell. My own tale is worse. Whoa! I can't regale the court of the tale of my perfect innocence. In perfect English.
That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim.
Alright, so that's Mr. Shakespeare. Who's the other gentleman beside him? What the fuck? These goddamn 19 like Dick Tracy characters. I'll say yes. We'll share that. Tracy. This could be a Dick Tracy character. Not Twitter. be a Dick Tracy character. Yes, I feel that we've caught a glimpse of the man before. State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet they could scent the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound they composed the earth. The unraveled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Or the great bard to recall the life anew. Lo, what a magnificent man. Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle. William Shakespeare. In other words, you're a sham. Oh, name's Meterman. Ardon B. Meterman. What is that? Altamont Gas Company. That supports my theory that the gas pipes are fucking leaking. Look at the Altamont Gas Company. East End branch office. I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh, yes. She's right, it's him. Oh, what's this? What's the man doing over there? I think he was trying to see Mr. Psycho-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Excuse me, could we have a word? And ran the fuck away. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. He is a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case? So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim of this miserable affair. Name's Meterman. Aaron D. Meterman. So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim of this miserable affair, correct? Oh, heaven, no hell. Do you command me to remember that sweet poison that this crossed me and crossed my innocent lips? Well, remember, Natsume drank the same shit too, or are you forgetting? I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission. Naturally. Hearing the testimony that I agreed will remove any room for doubt in the jurors' minds, I'm sure. Behold, you only have to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed. Thus I shall be a normal, sweet nature, verily, honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contriving meaning in your name. Nope, not at all. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. They haven't changed their poses much at all. They're acting like taking a seraph anagram idea seriously. Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introduction. But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare here? That gas man, I mean. Yep, what's the point of him being here? What? Me? Well, then, now, allow me to lighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence. He suggested the victim had another visitor to his room that night in question. And moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar. I didn't say he was a compulsive liar. I said he could be lying. What? I didn't quite say it like that. This young man's a chin stroker here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is it not so, Mr. Meanerman? Hey, well, hold on. No, I'm just here. I hereby call for your formal testimony, you two jackasses. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened that night in question. One may smile, and one may be a villain. Yes, it does pain me, but let me tell the truth be spoken. The truth of what whitely night of my discontent. Witness, testimony. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbor did come into the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But merry bitter was his drink. And when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips at that late hour. Naught else. You weren't suiciding with soap like Mr. Sholmes first thought? I was the sight of blokes with the freezing cold all night. Keep an eye on his room. Why? Why? It's like, what is all this fucking chin rubbing? No one else was in the room, so that's that short little roundabout the Eastern fella. Very short testimony. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room all night long? That's right, of course. The post window is all but blocked up, isn't it? There's a little gap in the bricks where you could see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered through the... But why were you fucking outside?
The question is, sir, why? Why?
Well, now. That's because he's on my list. Again with that suspicious rubbing tail. As a tell. What a piece of work a man is a man. Where if thou'st not stare and wonder. What are you talking about? Speak English. This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no need. Make him no more ado about his tedious work. What'd you say about me? That fanny pack almost makes him look like a bee. He pretty much looks like a Dick Tracy character. Just all these weird looking people. Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. I'll make it my concern.
Indeed, that is so.
And as the testimony we have heard clearly reveals, there was no other one than the accused present at the time that could have carried out this crime. Mumbo.
Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with its cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbor did come after the evening, bearing a gift of tea. To be clear, that neighbor you mean referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, it's in Sire. Sire, perchance thou was I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustached Ibrahim's friend Ibrahim visit your room in that? Our meeting was the promised hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea.
Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes.
And we shall broil the literacy debate of history have not seen before. But what you presume means the discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed up what the characters would be to bring the weight upon the very excitement.
I dare not imagine the scene.
He doesn't want to think of Mr. Natsume in a dress. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard the Englishman art of Jiu-Jitsu, but ne'er did I hear dream this would be a skill practiced by the comely maiden.
Juliet beat Romeo up?
Now this is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literacy debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I will do thy bidding. But Mary, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. And everyone just assumed he was dead. Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. Lost more than 3 hours missing time. He's trying to wiggle his way out of that. Literally. If the defendant really had poison in your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're gonna have to explain. Gladly. This is an easy task. What? Nani? I did drink the tea not while the guest this tarry, but after he took the leave of me. Faith, 'tis a stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, fairly my lips were parched. That doesn't sound normal. Nay, it is quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Miss such an argument, there would be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again. And who was the stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. You did not come here with an intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. There's a stooped over. That was the stooped lover of wares who did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. There was the tea alone that passed my lips at that late hour. Not else. Not your soap that Sholmes thought you were going to kill yourself with? So, did you not have any kind of meal that evening? Dinner? Supper? Fee and luxury, fee and gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry. I would that my belly were full, no more after the sun doth rise.
Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say.
He eats once a day, the number of times the sun rises. Night and day I do fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence that's why not in my chamber be then costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case even as a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now that I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from the room, is it? Recall seeing a single player script error.
That is true.
For I have devoured them all.
He means literally.
You've eaten them? A word be my skull. This doesn't imagine otherwise. It'll be with my skull. This stuff imagine otherwise. Right, that wasn't my misleading at all. Now, could you turn around and do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that only way that poison could have entered the victim's lips is the tea. But he ate the script. Did he have any script that night? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only thing that the poison would have passed the victim's lip is the tea. Or the words he ate. Since I broke windows that were freezing cold that night, keeping an eye on his room. Why? Why? But the windows in that house are all been filled in. Historical artifact of a now defunct Windows tax. Yeah, you're right there. Bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a less part of the brickwork that the bottom corner had been opened up. Looking through it in the gap. Yes, there was a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the edge on the outside as well. I like going around poking my chin into other people's business, especially in the freezing cold night. It's a big chin indeed. But them's my orders. That's what I keep doing. As long as there's a breath in my body. Why do you do that, though? Whose orders? What? Most of all the theatricals today. Out of interest, Mr. Miniman. After the accused left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in the room the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. I can be sure of that. Police carried a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And so we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence he didn't dispose of the poisonous container himself. It's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit would have removed this receptacle.
Ah, yes. Lucidly explained, Castle. Thank you. It really was. You can't argue with that logic.
No one else visited the room that night, short of a little round black Eastern fella. You say a short little round back Eastern fella. So you can't be sure it's the defendant then? How many other short little round back Japanese with mustache you think there was our London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap that was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. He didn't say a mustache either. But he showed up around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself. And when the person arrived, did he or did not did he and Mr. Shansford drink tea together? Nah, sorry. I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see in the room all that well, could I? But this he was a little silhouette of that little brown black fella wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started in some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it. Well, I gotta share that with them. Alright. Where is the one? Oh, it's in here in the jail. Share that. Which one was stronger? And then the ones we just saw right now. Your mic ain't working, but we can hear you. Okay. There's a order slide, so there now. What do you want? That's gonna be the most fucking... I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim's table? Victim that night in question. No question. Gasman's honor.
And this last screenshot. The Natsume. It's the Romeo and Juliet championship battle. Oh god. Hold it.
My lord.
Goodness me, Yes, Mr. Foreman?
I've kept my mouth shut and I listen now. This has gone long enough. Are you all with me?
Yes. Motherfucker.
It's time. Are we to understand that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? Too right we have.
All with me? Yes.
Wait, no. The defense is in the middle of cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out for a bit of hope you could, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours of accusing them leaving their victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, you put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer. I'll say it before, if I don't make a 5-ball home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top. What's that? Didn't notice that the seat had just left. What's that? Sorry, I can't quite catch what you said.
Very well, let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, state your leanings toward the defendant's culpability.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Yeah, fuck off.
Guilty. Guilty.
If you're watching Kibi or in Fantasy, this is how a jury votes. Or at random times throughout the trial. All of you?
Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
So this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Not yet. Get up, Mr. Naruto, please. Trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mrs. Otto? What about the information I found about the Encyclopedia of British Law I have? The obscure right that belongs to the defense and needs this situation. Alright, this will be the second time he does it. Not the 7th, 10th time. Summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japan, in Japanese courts, of course. But there's here in British a court of law that can reverse the decision of the majority of jurors. We can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I can't let that happen. Full power. Boom. The defense moves and work is right for a summation examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Japanese friend's ability to admit defeat? Choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right of summation examination. And not as many times as this little fucker, but he's done it well.
Because they all know once the jury's mind is set, it can't be altered.
Nevertheless, this is the second court, so technically it'll be more. The right remains and must be upheld. Well, third, actually. The defense counsel's request is granted. The court will proceed with the summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we all know this young lad's tenacity. We're all up for it. Oh, yes, even the people I haven't technically met yet.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds on which they find the defendant guilty of the crime on which he stands accused.
Judicial findings. The juror's contentions. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man. And straight up noble. I think that's a completely oxymoronic, contradictory term. If you're not well off, you're definitely not a fucking noble. And straight up, there's no reason to doubt the man. Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Just look at the accused in comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all in white, and has a mustache. Very fishy. He has a mustache. Reason to be found guilty. No evidence suggests this gangling actor is a fraudsman, for now at least. But if we could prove it. I really don't care. We need to get the trial anyway. And quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you can reach my age, no? Nothing at all. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamsier is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen. Yes, they have. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements. Uh-huh. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by strange theatrical movements. And sadly, nothing Mr. Asuma has said appears to register at all. Well, here goes. Let's not forget. I pleaded with the jury on Saseki-san's behalf before, and it worked. You never know. Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you that exactly how submission examination works, Mr. Naruto. Oh? Well, you're still very new to British law, after all. That's true, I suppose. And Saseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands, not to. There's a chance I might have forgotten something. Perhaps I cheat yourselves on that. Wonder, should I let her talk to me through it again, or not bother? Nope. We're good. No need. Thank you for the kind offer, Mrs. Adel. But I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already now. Technically 3 at this point. Minimum. But I think it's important that we don't delay any start any longer than necessary. Of course, I understand, and I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at any point, you can turn to me for advice whenever you like. I'm here for you. For now. Key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement, and then contradicting them. Finding that they are contradictory, and pinning the corresponding jurors against each other. Exactly what she would have told me. See, Mark? Yeah, what they're doing. Without further ado, please, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. The fucking battle of Romeo and Juliet won. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. And he's like a fucking jackass. Yeah, he means upsetting. The victim may not be well off, but he's a normal man and a straight up man. There's no reason to doubt the man. So, summation examination. Probably only the one for this trial, but we'll see. Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I have no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Snoop is no liar. And he's definitely not well off. Look, the point is, the only thing that's passed the victim's lips that night was a man's Japanese tea. Japanese man's tea. You're taking the gas man's testimony into account, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that's alarmingly logical. Let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. And a little bit of embezzling. And, big debts. Turns out that the old champs we were chum is a rotten liar after all. I'll gladly change my decision about the defendant. So he's willing to negotiate this one. I'm sure my fellow jury will do the same. Is that right? Well, yes, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening. Eh? What's that? Ellie and Jen at the end here, you know. You have to speak up. Look, I really don't care about this nonsense. Just trying to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on this jury, then? Alright, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. Alright, if you're showing me that the victim's a liar, I would consider my position. You declared the poor gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he did rather splendidly. Well, he lost as Romeo versus Juliet, so how much of a gentleman is he? You saying you believe the man to be trustworthy just because he's rather splendid? No, that's not what I said. That's exactly what you said, bitch. Point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? Because he was trying to kill himself. And yes, he is rather splendid. So you say yet again. Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously exhausting looking at him. That's his normal fucking behavior. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all. Splendid logic there, madam. Thank you so much. Declared the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. I just look at the accused in comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all the while, and that mustache, very fishy. Mustaches make people evil. That's a very old adult joke from before. Everyone with a mustache is not a pedophile, but almost every pedophile has a mustache. Do not ask your parents that. No, that's not one of those things that find a man guilty because he has a fucking mustache. But he is fishy. There's no point in dancing around that fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache, and he stoops. You see, you arrived at a conclusion just in 3 steps. 3 steps, like a waltz, in fact. See, racist English people. You know, this is more about it. The trial seems more like a dance. You need several steps ahead of yourself, though. And you're on the wrong foot. No. Something but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of events are backed up by what the big-chinned man next to him says, isn't it? And he knows the Japanese man there. 2 of them saw... 2, he saw no one else, and 3, he's a Japanese man there. Still 3 steps. It really does seem to be more like a waltz. So, he's guilty because he's Japanese. Right. And the prosecution will waltz his way to victory if I let you speak up it much more. He's guilty because he's Japanese. The reason why he's voting guilty. There's no answer to just a gangling actor as a fraudsman. At least for now. A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? Well, a lot of actors are frauds. But not this one. He's trustworthy. It really is the most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. We can be absolutely certain that the customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence, we can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. Really? I'm sorry, you've lost me a little here. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustin Altamont. Yep, that is fucked up. Owner of the Altamont Gas Company. Oh! Another gas person here. Good gracious, Altamont Gas, you say? No wonder she's rich as bitch. Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe. But properly handling is essential. Again, this goes to my theory, which will maybe prove that the gas did it. As I'm sure an employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Quimby? She's fucking Quimby. Can it be used properly? Almond gas is the best in the world, of course. I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier. The bow? What bow? Right, he bowed to the defendant in deference to the employer's wife, did he not? Ah, so we'll be right to assume that the reason Mr. Minaman was watching that Mr. Shampspire was up in that room. I'm afraid there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go in order to steal our gas. Steal gas, huh? So they have no choice but to, when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman, but to dispatch a worker to watch the suspected day and night. We're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Shampspire is... I wouldn't come on and say it in public, but you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You have noticed the public gallery here, haven't you? The eye of man hath not heard, for the ear of man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with words, were I to let them penetrate the skin. But seraphs do not hear insults, nor choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. He's stealing gas, and it's fucking flooding the house. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights of the Altamont, in an Altamont gas explosion. So Miss Shampspire has been stealing gas. So he's already not trustworthy. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding the information to your statement. My pleasure. Was it a bit ripping the... Was it the bit about ripping the thief apart you enjoy? Quite so. A little bit for that part you objected by this. It's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. This could be shifting the balance. The victim puts a fine performance in reality. He's a common thief of my company's gas. Oh, and she has a say in that company, as you can see. She has a say. That's a bold claim. How do you be so sure? Really very simple. Noble lady of gas, I pray to thee, hold thy tongue. Very simple. Shut up, bitch. I beg your pardon? He basically politely told you, shut up, bitch. Have that rank odored air of far darkness illuminate any place in this assembly? Nay. That the sole important here is that someone was extinguish the light of mine own life. Verily, I never recall stealing that gas, but pray let the matter rest till anon. Why, you little? Simpson's line. Begging your pardon, Madam Lady, but I might suggest you not say no more at this stage. We need hard evidence first. If I keep secretly watching the bloke, I'll get him in the end. He'll slip up. Secretly tell everyone you're secretly watching him. Do you think maybe that secret's out of the bag? Oh, this is so frustrating. Oh yeah, so let's go back to the first guy since we did say... I want to just keep talking to them. We have found some information. I'll hold you to it. Will you stand by that statement? What are you taking for? I'm a gentleman, sir. Man of my word. You perfectly clear about this. Turns out that the old Shakespearean chump is a rotten liar after all. I'll gladly change my decision about the defense. I'm sure my fellow gentlemen, the jury will do the same. Isn't that right? Yes, perhaps. I don't see it happening. What's that? I'll leave Jen at the end here, you know. Speak up. I gotta be home. Alright, sir. I may hold you to do that. He's rather splendid. The victim puts on a fine performance on any common thief. Like this, I just seem to try to be over again. He's a day laborer. You keep talking about needing to take some money. What's it all about, sir? Because we hadn't this is the first time we technically meet him. Finish last. That's what it's about. What's that? Talk about the derby at the Hyde Park, aren't I? It was the Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it? A derby? It was a dead cert. That's the thing. Can't lose, so I took my wife's secret savings. But then the hopeless mayor went and did the unthinkable. Stupid finish last. Oh dear, I think he's cleared. It's clear what happened, isn't it? He lost the money on the ponies. She moved the second she heard the door.
There was a dead body. That's why there's police there. And they're still there.
That's what by the road?
Yeah. It's no one involved in FIU, it's just there was a body there.
Well, like in the woods area or something? Or?
Like right where the police were, like it's somewhere nearby that area. I don't know if it was in the woods.
Because it looked like there was like a hole or something in the ground there. Like they were like digging up like some of the road. Like from the other time when they fixed the water.
Because like one of my classmates said they saw like yellow tarp there like around 12:30. And yeah, for a while it's just like one lane. You can only use like one lane to get out, so I was like,
Yeah, because getting out wasn't bad. It's just like, yeah, just driving on the wrong side of the road through the turn
it
lane.
was like, that was a lot of traffic. It was like an hour just to get out there. I literally just bumper to bumper. Getting inside the caps is fine. Just getting out is just fine.
I got out quickly, but you know, the traffic wasn't that bad because then you have rush hour right now, and well, earlier. It's a day that misses user savings on a trip for down at the pub. So come on, let the business lie. Come on, give it up. That's not gonna happen. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you don't reach that age, you know? It's nothing. I really don't like, I just need to try that quickly. I really don't care, like. We should probably press him a little more. Keep talking about needing to take home some top money. It's the same. You lost money on the ponies. 3 hours missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know? Oh shit, nope. I'm not gonna see this until I need to. Which is what's next. There we go. What do you really mean by that, sir? Well, I'm not one to boast, but I get up about 5 every morning, I do. 5? You're a really early riser then, aren't you? Early special. What is that now? I said you're an early riser. Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to, while while away the hours in the evening reading books as well. But by 2 in the morning, I just usually too tired to go on. 2 in the fucking morning, and he gets up at 5 in the fucking morning. He sleeps at 2 in the morning, gets up at 5. Oh my, that means he only has 3 hours of sleep each night. She was able to do simple math. What's that, dear? Only 3 hours of sleep each night? That's right. You see, 3 hours of missing time. It's like I said. It's not much, is it? That's not really missing time. You went to fucking sleep. Really isn't helping. The key information is identifying the contradictions between the jurors' statements, Mr. Aruoto. Also found 2 jurors' statements that epitome against each other. Hopefully they'll see what they're saying doesn't make sense and change your feelings. If you're able to change the minds of the majority of the jurors, the trial will continue. Regretfully, if you're not able to do that, the judge will declare the trial over and move to adjudication. Can't let that happen. Must turn this trial around. So, anything we can prove that he's a thief. This bar of soap. So what's that puddle on the floor? By the gas meter. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work, but we'll try it. Meterman, he's a witness to the incident. Altamont, the wife of the gas company owner. And a juror. So we can't, so let's pit her.
Victim's a liar. Victim is fine performance by the common thief.
Objection.
Two statements are clearly contradicting each other.
Good gracious. Whose statements are you referring to, counsel?
Juror number 1. Eh? What are you yelling about, lad? Well, I presume you heard juror number 4's statement made by the wife of the owner of the Altamont gas. Well, yes. The victim, who you claim to be noble, straight-up man, is in fact turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard him say as much. It's true, we don't have any evidence as such just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know. What? You heard me. Seeing as his operation has already been compromised, I will suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there. Whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's honor. Juror number 1. Say you're a man of your word. If I could show Mr. Shaftesbury a liar, you assure me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt. Yes, I did say that. The man of honor, I'll hold to it. As I'm sure the other gentlemen in the jury will. Me? Oh, well, yes. Now we found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further. Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I've only heard half of what you've all been saying. This means you'll recap a few points that should shoot me down to the ground. Oh no, I'm not having part of this. I want this trial to be over and done with. In that case, I shall change my leaning. So, Mr. William Shamspear, that's your real name. We, the jury, demand to know exactly what kind of man you really are. That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory! And she always seems like she's going to attack me.
Order! Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense summation examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty. Therefore declare the court to be in a state of disaccord, and in order the trial to continue.
Second glass is broken. You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shamspear. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. Hear no evil, see no evil. But you gods will give us some faults to make us man. So God amend me, I do swear. The gasman speaketh that which concerns him most, naught but gas, naught but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright the while, but it hath no substance, but it doth reek foul. Yep, gas leak. Oi, what'd you say?
Do I take it, Mr. Shamspear, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery?
Like, she's fine with you picking her up most of that. Most heartily, my lord, hast thou forgot, I am as a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, verily honest of heart. think maybe tomorrow I'll get some Chinese. So I'm also add some. Is there one you prefer more, like the one from the Miami Lakes one, or like I like the one here, the one that gives too much rice, but it feels like their chicken runs out even quicker.
Hey, both are good.
Okay, I like the egg rolls from this one. Noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart. Urgh, you flowery-mouthed, pompous beanpole. Just because I haven't got any evidence yet. Mr. Shamspear, if in fact you are not a noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony will have no sway in this courtroom. This is my considered opinion, that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on this case. Oh no. However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of the witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court to not pursue this point further. I assure you, my lord, that there would be a waste of the court's time. The gas in this case are unrelated. I'm pretty sure they're not. As I've been saying from the beginning, that's my hint. He's been trying to get strangled by the gas seeping up. Juror number 4. Yes? Didn't you say before that although you have no hard evidence to prove this man has been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. Don't you, worker? Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gasman's honor. Very well done. You shall hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shamspear, has been stealing gas. Yes, my lord. Be my pleasure. On the Altman gas name, if I may, my lord. Go ahead, madam. This worker's testimony may be a significantly bearing on the good name of the husband. May have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him, in supervisory role, if you don't mind. Oh, yeah! So yes, honey, yeah! Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request. Thank you, my lord. Thank you, my lord. You wait till the boss gives you an earful. That's gonna sting. Mark my words. So you will both testify before the court. The subject of illegal consumption of the Almont Gas Company's fuel. Yes. Is that clear, my good man? Clear as Almont Gas, my lady. Which is the clearest of the world. Which means they don't put the... Like a lot of gas here, gas is colorless and odorless. So I'm assuming they don't put actual... They put certain things that you could smell, which so you could know there's a gas leak. Otherwise, you could just pass out and die. So I'm assuming they don't have that special chemical, which is like a very known common chemical we use nowadays for gas to tell, hey, there's a gas leak. Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Miss Susato? I think that man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruto. Witness testimony. Next testimony. The Altamont Gas Company's investigation. I'm proud to be the Gas Man's East End branch. Investigator and meter money collection agent. A meter money collection agent. Altamont Gas meters accept Trumpty bits, each coin giving customers 2 hours of gorgeous gas. Trumpany bits. And yet the meter in the Shamspear room did not have a single coin in it. Meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though. The collection agent has the only key. Are you sure? Somehow, he's using all the flammable gas he wants without paying a penny. That's not thieving. What is? We know. That red coin. Pray forgive this courtesy. Relevant of this testimony caused me to turn my hello chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Sir Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustache Japanese poison of the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That's all that should be concerned in this court. And yet now he must listen to this. Abhorrence. Third glass. Clearly that separates the vast British Empire from your Eastern Island nation is more than geographic distance. But this could be turned to be crucial testimony. Cross-examination must go ahead. Now he's going to throw that too. 4. Do what you will. Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. Attempted poisoning and scent of gas have no supporting evidence. True that they do not appear completely unrelated at first glimpse. True. But I wonder the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. Like that the red coin on the soap. It's a fucking wax or whatever coin. That's why he's fucking... That's how he's getting free gas. And the first step is uncovering it, re-establishing who or what this man really is. On gas company's investigation. Proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter man collection agent. So he has to go to every room throughout the fucking city in a certain area in the East End to collect the fucking money every so often. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to get their gas meters? That I do. I have to catch people when they're in, then I ask permission to come in and do my business. Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsuma's room before as well as Mr. Shamspears? Well now, interesting you should bring that up. Because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how a pair of them survived this winter is beyond me. Really is. Knowing Mr. Natsumi probably spends all his gas money on books. And when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth. You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Meterman. Not much to really say, but if you wish. One gas will have struppity bits. Each coin has given the customers 2 hours to guess. Also, he added more statements. Yeah, it's empty. He has the only key. Using all the flammable he wants without paying a penny. So I think he added that last line. Okay, that says trumpety bits, each coin giving customers 2 hours of gas. So all London houses have a gas supply that are fitted with these gas meters, are they? They are the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. When a user of gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes. So if 3 pence coins gives 2 hours, most people will use 3 coins a night. I have 3 pence coin. Bit more than that usually. They have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is. Thinking about it, so like his son doesn't have a fireplace in his room, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. I guess I don't remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. How does the money in the meter get back to you in the gas company? Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters, of course. Must say, the design of the manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it put it to stop the people not paying their dues, for the most part. Ah, because they haven't paid in advance, you mean? Yes, exactly right. Okay, straightforward. And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room did not have a single coin in it. Because he's using wax of some kind of coin. Out of interest, how long has this been going on? Weeks and weeks. You've been pitching gas of us for ages. And you examined the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room, I take it? Naturally. We took it off the wall and went over with it with a fine-tooth comb. And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume. Nope, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One of the indestructible lock. The Shamspeare Special. Sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3 pence pieces. But after that, the rascal's meter is still empty. Never forget that humiliation. I opened the money box and found it bare. You what? I said, you what? The look at his face, the swarmy smile of his. Pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. You didn't replace it with another one? Not a trace of it being jemmied open anywhere, not a single sign. What happened to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what. A shilling? Jeez. And remember, we got the 5 shilling was the inspector's cut for his appearance fee in the Sherlock Holmes books. Life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of the meter? Oh, I have it here. Nothing became of it. I still got it. Oh? Right here. No wonder they call you Meter Man. I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing. Gas meter has been entered the record. Asbestos gas is set up after a coin is inserted. Sports a very strong lock developed especially with Mr. Shamspeare in mind. Definitely. Alright, first things first, we're examining this bitch right now. That's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it? The money sealed is beeswax. What? Wait, whoa. And the money box is sealed with beeswax too. Wax can be melted. So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up into any mischief, he'd find out immediately. Sholmes. Mr. Naruto, mischief is not the kind of sort of thing Mr. Sholmes would. And she just stopped herself. You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway. It's understandable the gas company will want to safeguard his money that's rightfully theirs. But let's feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? Where there's the coin insert. There's something at the bottom there. Oh, haha. And it asks for the wax to drain out, right? What's... Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruto? Just here. There's a little hole, you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So, you think it might have been opened by Mr. Shamsphere? Possibly. It seems the people at Amon Gas have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through the inside. Yeah, there's no way a coin could fit through there. But he could push a coin out and back in. True, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. The details of the gas meter have been updated. A meter that dispenses gas for a set amount of coins. The to attach the coin box supports a very strong lock, and there's a tiny hole on the base. He's been feeding it wax coins, and then the wax comes out. Unless he puts, put a coin on a string and then pull it out. That technique people used to do in the arcades and other stuff. 1950s-ish time frame. This seems like I said, he's putting wax coins in, and then he lets the wax come out. He lets the wax come out, and there's the wax right below it. Because this is hot, and that goes there. It melts. Yep, my theory was correct. We'll get to it. That the gas is poisoning Natsume. Definitely. Well, at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue your testimony. Although I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter. Oof. Meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, although the collection agent has the only key. So we're gonna prove he's a liar. Can of wax. There's only one key for all your meters? Well, in truth, there is another key in the company vault in the main office. But even if someone had managed to get a hold of the key, we know that if the coin box had been opened. Oh? How? Came up with a rather clever way of exposing any little shenanigans that happens. He would reapply the wax, if anything. Gary explained. Well, now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock to remove the cover. But when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax on a seal, you see. A seal, sort of like you put like on an envelope, you mean? Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal. Now, in the case of Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, they said. But the seal hadn't been broken either. He was putting more wax back on it, if he did open it. So that would mean Mr. Shamspere somehow managed to steal coins from inside a meter without opening it. Look at that shock face. It would seem so, but that would be impossible. Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is? How do you know that he's been using gas, though? Well, now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room more than a few times. Every single occasion, his lamps have been blazing and his stove has been pounding. Middle of winter, he still turns to me and sweat dripping his cheek and says, "Get thee to the nunnery."
Hamlet, indeed.
Alright, I could wring that bloke's neck. Gotta get it hot all in the collar, but still. It's up over the flaming meter. It's empty. You're robbing me of my salary, too. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice? But how can Mr. Shamspeare possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand. The simple explanation is right before your eyes. He sees it. He sees it. What? Nani? A toast to your eventually realizing that Gasman would be an accomplice. No. It's not that simple. You what? Good gracious. Eminently plausible indeed. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Huh? Oh, please, Lady Quimby, I'm a faithful worker. Besides, if the money of Gasman Collect doesn't tally up with how much gas we've been used, you and Doc are paid the same amount. So you've been stealing money only to have it the same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense. Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war. No, no, no! I'm gonna stir up that hornet's nest that we're stealing from the company. I'll be finished. It would seem there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim. Because Mr. William Shamspeare is innocent. Whoosh. Pray forgive my shattering of the illusions I've learned from Nipponese friend. So that's Nipponese. That's like the 5th item. 2 glasses, a bottle, and now another glass. And then he shattered one of his hand in the beginning. That's 5. Then I expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's been taking place in the very same room. According to the testimony, the only meter in the Chancellor's room is under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, it does. I know it seems that way, but in fact it is. Since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered at least once already. Cases that are interlinked. Oh. I seem the 2 cases have nothing to do with each other, but in fact, they're intimately connected. Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance. Perhaps. Can't be sure of it yet. The Alman Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspeare earnestly. Must be something to it. But how has he managed to steal their gas? The soap. It doesn't appear to be tampered with. Oh, yes, it has. It has been tampered with. Lady Altamont, afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What? Nani? Get away! I've been over that thing. Over and over. I tell you, there's nothing wrong with it. In that case, what do you make of the small hole that's been in the base of this coin basket? Hole? What? You're right. Quite right. There's a little hole here. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Shamspeare secretly opened this hole up himself. Yes, that wouldn't be at all surprise. But why? Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You're gonna get farting through that. It's the wax. Lady Altamont. Wonder if you can give the court some more details on your meter design. What sort of details? It's the investigation music. Well, this manual has different coins. The last one is the one that we need. It's the last one. But we're going to ask this first. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yes, given that there are no signs of having been forced. Wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart. Well, yes, it does make some sense. The padlocks are made from the first-class locksmiths from the finest quality steel. Meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. Assure you, it's quite impossible to dismantle it. Oh yeah, nothing leaks from out my gas. No coin, no gas, no nothing. Oh, we have something that does. I see. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information. In that case, it is pertinent. So wish, my lord. Just the meter are welded shut and the lock is made of solid steel. There's no way to dismantle it. Has anyone ever tried? Oh yeah, they've tried. But they've all given up before long. After all, if they actually broke the meter, the gas company will be able to take legal action. Yes, that makes sense. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Is the welded shut construction significant? Perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction we shouldn't focus on. Yes, you may be right. There is another aspect. Perhaps we'll try a different track here. Meter differential coins, for example. Yep. That is the aspect we need to ask. That's the other question. The important one. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put 1 penny coin, that couldn't possibly work, presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin has been fed into the trumpenny bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A trumpenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see, it's clearly been well thought out of. Okay, now you amend this. Witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it's pertinent. This is pertinent, as you wish, my lord. More pertinent than the other one. It's that for coins exactly the diameter and thickness of a trumpenny. Nothing else will fit. Aha. Now we can present after we press. But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameters and thickness would equally be used, right? Wouldn't that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into it at a certain extent as well. We thought of that though. Anyways, if I find any fake coins inside a meter box with an empty meter, the Chronicles says the customer will have to pay 100 times that amount they did as a fine. Ooh, 100 times. We live for moments like that as a gasman do. Yeah, because that's part of your paycheck. It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Not everything. Ooh, ready for gas, ready for cash. Ultimate all the way. That's quite enough of that. Remind me, how big are trumpenny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Is there 2 centimeters? Is this 2 centimeters measurement significance? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meters? Yes, you may be right. I mean, it can be dismantled. We'll leave it for now.
Let's return to her testimony.
Alright, you found out everything. Of course, my lord. It's our impasse and can't be manipulated. Oh, yes, it has. And yes, they can. Let's examine this again. Oh, let's look at this bar of soap. There's a person inside about 2 centimeters across.
or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think? We did find soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes, there were 2 bars and on that little ledge outside the window. So we took this one, but I'm sure that we first found it. There was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly. But there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? It's in your fucking pocket. Bar of soap has been updated. It has a 2 centimeter circular depression in the middle of it. Now we can present the soap. Now we can prove he's a fucking thief. Take that, bitch. Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would be accepting an object as if it were a trumpeting bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Well, by something of coincidence, we were investigating Mr. Shakespeare's room. We found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size of a trumpeting bit? What was it? I am in question. Is this soap? What? We've been hating gas. It's a bar soap. Certainly looks nothing like a trumpeting bit, I must say. Oh, turn it around, bitch. Looks like I'm gonna have to go point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about the soap is this part here. You don't have to turn the soap over to see what I mean. Ah, she realized immediately. You're referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap here? That's right, a depression of approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a trumpeting bit. Get away! Does anyone here present have in their possession a trumpeting bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it? Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have a trumpeting bit. I'll see if it fits. Perfectly. My word. It couldn't be more snug. Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company has been defrauded. Well, I don't believe it. 6 glasses. 5 glasses now. So, your assertion amounts to what? Some inferior bar of soap has tentative connection to the theft of gas. Yes. There. The impression of soap was clearly made by a trumpeting bit. Must concur, at least, at pushing it, going with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this. Is a remarkable simple way of replicating the coin's shape. Now everyone's gonna fucking be able to do this. And then you use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold? You could make fake coins in no time. Ding, ding, ding. It's all coming together. The first half. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. The method of Mr. Shakespeare been using to steal the gas, that's the missing link. And now I follow the chain of thought. I can present exactly that he has been doing that. Melted wax on the floor. It's gonna bring me a new explanation to what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. The man's been making fake coins. My worker, he would have found him when he emptied the meter. Quite true, Lady Altman. The odds of some black magic that could make him disappear. He knows. I see. That's what you're dealing with, is it? He understands. There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. It's called fire. Exactly. Exactly. Meteor here gives it away. The whole What on earth?
There are remnants of a magical method used visible to make them on the gas meter to make the taken from the victim's room.
That's your assertion, Counsel. Let's identify the remnants of this cord at once. Where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins appear be seen?
Right there. We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Outside? Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meter Man, were loitering. Freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap. Ah, I get it. That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. So not wax, but ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shamster was leaving soaps outside of this window each evening filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid next morning. Then he takes the fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth and spades. And then he feeds them light meter. Ah, shit, I forgot his voice. Then he feeds the fake coins of ice and takes the fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth for spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning black into water and draining harmlessly away to a small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving the evidence of his wrongdoing, this man's been stealing Outmont gas. He's proven it, that he's a liar. ... Just like that, so simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? You've been fooling us with some kind of bars of soap and water? Some water? That's right, madam. I don't believe it. Can't be true. Have any idea how much money that could be spent to develop that new meter? I have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and water can render it totally useless? I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. Evidence! Sorry? I want evidence! Are you going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish? I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? We have. Very well, Lady Alma. If you like evidence, I'll prove it. What? What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you actually have evidence to support this theory? Yes, we do. We do. I didn't notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at a time. And I have a feeling this is the theory we're going to come up with now, and we'll explain it. Piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about Mr. Shamster's been stealing gas is crime scene photo. This is a photograph of the scene at the point where the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. Clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamster. What remnants? Right over here. Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Shamster's room. Now look closely at the floorboards directly beneath the meter. What is that? Some kind of grubby stain. Almost certainly it's a water stain resulting from the liquid draining out of the hole made in the meter. If one coin gives about 2 hours of gas, you should the occupant would be heating the room for all his waking hours. You can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins every day. Melting ice inside a meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. Well, now you could charge him for all those coins. 100-fold. And there's further evidence too. That's when we started this adventure, 8:30. At 25. There's a Shakespeare slumped over his table, apparently having consumed tricine.
And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right. It would appear to me then, the council, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not.
He didn't beat around the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamspeare was found a fork in his hand. A meal of soap sounded increasingly likely. Did you mean to say he was using the fork to... Was found a fork in hand. A meal of soap is sounding interesting indeed, Lord Van Zeeks. You mean to say he was using a fork to pull the coin out? Yes. To extract the frozen coin from the bar of soap. But the bar broke in half. So perhaps he didn't go very well. Good gracious. He poisoned himself with soap. Is that what you're saying? That's the second bottle. That's 7 items. 7 items he's broken this trial. Lord Van Zeeks? I was throwing my hand up with despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of this, counsel? You know the cleaning bill's going to you again.
Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly you established in your most recent cross-examination?
Well, the defendant's a fucking liar and a thief.
That Mr. William Shamspeare is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable.
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly it.
Very well. Let us assume the man's a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make?
Well,
we know that suicide can't be discounted. Scotland Yard investigator revealed no sign of vessel containing the poison. On the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony was rest soon a doubt to confirm that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea.
Did he stir the tea with his soap-filled knife? Fork?
Of course, no evidence whatsoever suggests otherwise. Even if William Shamspeare is a liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, prosecution calls for immediate education.
You... What? Nani? Order! Order! Order in the head, Future Honor. Never let it die. Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo, get your ass up.
And she mimicked him so well.
What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did she get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying?
Raise an objection.
Strong one. No, this isn't over. Fence will not rest. What? Nani?
But counsel, you successfully explained everything. Identified the sustained, unscrupulous methods employed by Mr. Shamspeare to consume gas. What more is there to discuss? What more is there to discuss? The poison.
Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all. What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend? At least one of these so-called facts is an assumption made due to lack of evidence. Realizing that. But the situation's changed now following the cross-examination of late witnesses. Latest witnesses take the stand. Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense? Yes, when we bring up everything we learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we need to reconsider. Namely, they're still assuming the poison's in the tea. We know there was not another visitor, supposedly. Was someone else responsible? And you forget, Natsume took the tea too. Was someone else responsible? Was the poison in the tea? It was in the fucking soap. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison was affecting Mr. Shamspeare. Was the tea brought to him by Natsume? But that's conjecture at best. The victim has testified nothing has passed his lips that night. No other possibility. And since there was no trace of tea left at the scene, it could be tested for trace of poison. Exactly, it's an assumption. It's an assumption. As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, someone of Mr. Natsume's teas was left at the scene. A particular piece of evidence proves it. Ludicrous claims. Scotland Yard detective investigated the scene as stalked excessively. What evidence are you suggesting that they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime could tell us the nature of the defendant's tea?
The teacup. The ring.
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Natsume's tea, counsel?
Well, I suspect it may, possibly, be related to the tea in a small way. If we dig deep enough. Then you'll be digging a very long time indeed, my learned friend. Oh. Even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you'll find no sense of an absurd assertion. I went too far. Sometimes I wish I could just disappear down to a deep chasm and escape its deep sarcasm.
I advise you to think more deeply before you answer this time again. What evidence from the scene of the crime tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Did he use the tea? He used the tea in the soap. He used the tea in the soap. So would it be this, or would it be the soap? There's only 3 viable pieces of evidence, so if it's not this... Yeah, it's not the teacup. Test the inside of this meter.
What exactly is this supposed to reveal, counsel?
Nope.
The soap, then. The soap or the envelope? Oh, it is the envelope. Because the envelope is what held the tea leaves, right? It's a conjecture. Some was left at the scene. It's the envelope. No. So it's not the envelope. It's the photo. It's on the floor. No. So it is the soap then. The other soap's still at the scene. It's that magical soap. Good gracious, yep, it is the soap. That was one of the three. I was testing out other things just to be sure, but yep. The soap was it. Good gracious. Soap again? Same bar the victim used to fashion the coins of ice? Yes, that's right, my lord. Just came back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It was red. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What is the bars of soap we line up on the edge on the outside the window? It's quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. He discovered the gas thieves' coin factory. Fascinating. So you discovered the gas thieves' coin factory. In a way, yes, but there is more. Coins were found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice. There's something strange about them, you mean? Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red? Yes, it was. No! You mean... That's right, it's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. What? I'll remind the court that the statement made by the Natsume earlier in the trial. Evening, yes. To take some freshly brewed tea that visit Mr. Hampshire a gift. The public water pump outside was always freezing at night, so I brought bottled water especially made for it. As a result, I'll never touch tea again. Never! Oh yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains on the east end are prone to freezing. On the night in question, assuming Mr. Shakespeare had no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought Mr. Natsume to order his fake coins. My word! There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when Judicial Assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we borrowed only one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid on the bar of soap outside of Mr. Shakespeare's window. Extraordinary.
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even a drop of tea remained, Scotland Yard would be analyzed for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove that it had been until now mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contained strychnine at all. You, smug, Nipponese. My lord, we cannot do the defendant the justice of passing judgment now. Police should dispatch the recovery of the remaining bar of soap and the scene at once. The defense should request a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it to determine whether or not it contains any poison. I'm pretty sure it's the soap, it's not the tea.
Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend to the scene at once.
Yes, my lord. Understood. Now we go to part 2. Or is it...
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. Trust you have no objection, Lord of Essex.
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out this requisite test immediately. Trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow.
So we do get a second investigation. Another investigation.
Prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, consuls. Court is adjourned until tomorrow. Now I have to take a shit.
That's why this is a secret trial, because it would have fucked up her reputation for the company. So now we get to examine the thing in the thing in her room. Now we get to examine it. February 22nd, 1:11 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Not set up yet. Ooh, we made it back in one piece. Just. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of the close shaves. There's so many carriages in the streets of London that we were nearly flattened several times. That too. You mean in court? Oh, no. I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruto-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now your fervent exploits have won us some more precious time. Investigation time. Let's see if we can find some new clues for court tomorrow. Stop threatening me. Yep, let's do that. Is everything alright? I suppose I still can't quite believe it, that's all. That I'm here in England working as a lawyer. I mean, in the Old Bailey, no less. Truth is, that shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-san's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yeah, I mean, I never had a chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. Wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. You're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I have no doubt that Kazuma-san would say exactly the same if you were here with us. Thank you, Sadao-san. Thank you. Alright, so we gotta have a spade discussion. And ladders. Perhaps she put the spade away somewhere. That's not a spade, Naruto-san. It's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. Both stare at each other. Well, doesn't really matter, does it? So right, Naruto-san, we mustn't quarrel over such trifles. On reflection, then I think we'll leave the spade wherever it is. Yes, I think it's fit for the best. We need a shovel when we're working in the garden. And the ladder. He's just starting off there. Tanks that keep sea creatures, called aquariums. So clever, come by the ocean in your helm. Yeah, emergency midnight feast, Dad. Not sure this really was the idea. And her room. The room behind that door. My bedroom, Mr. Naruto-san, as you know. Unpack your things. It's very kind, but no thank you. Look, you look heavy. Young man's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Alright, time to converse, and then we move on and inspect everything again. Today's trial. It's quite a shocker today, wasn't it? The victim himself turned up in the court and took the stand. I know. Not only that, but then finding out that he was actually a barefaced gas thief as well. Yes, it was certainly a surprise for us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Sasaki-san's poisoning the tea. Careful your phrasing, son. He didn't poison anything. There's more to Mr. Shamspear than we have yet to know, I'm sure of it. Mr. Shamspear certainly isn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. What's become of him, actually? I was told he'd been returned to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment. Which is that? Let's see. Ah, yes, he's at the St. Bartholomew's on Barts and Londoners call it. You know that place, don't we? Yep, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. Same hospital which she's there. And he's probably her roommate. Ah, yes, after Sasaki-san stabbed her in the back. Really careful your phrasing, Naruto-san. You didn't stab anyone. Touche. Perhaps we both owe Sasaki-san an apology. Bartholomew's, huh? Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. What next? So we know that Sasaki-san took the tea to the victim on the night in question. Wasn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison sure wasn't in the tea. But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get to Mr. Shamspear's body? His costumes. Sure they'll find a clue somewhere in the scene. We need something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help us solve the mystery. Hint, hint. Naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over that room or place already. But it wouldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. I'm so desperate to know the outcome of that investigation of the tea left in the bar soap. If I run to Inspector Gregson, we can ask him for that. Kazuma's wishes. Kazuma Sagi, the best friend I ever had. Lawyer of such promises. You saved my bacon a horrible incident just before we left Japan. I still could picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court, with the Solid Snake Infinite Ammo headband. After that trial, the crazy idea came up with... As a stowaway? Yeah, you can fit in my trunk. You curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Is that so I can accompany you to Great Britain? It's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. You really ought to know, go into law. Be a defense lawyer. Got natural talent for it, believe me. Guarantee it. I never thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London's the cultural capital of the world, the city on the forefront of everything. Can't hurt you to see it through your own eyes. No, that's true. Suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh no, never mind. That glorious inflammable headband. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yes, he's forever in our thoughts too. My thoughts too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. That's why he was so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yep, that's right. But... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought it just takes hold of me every now and then, and that's all. Kazuma's true intentions. Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-san's true intentions? I mean this. You actually see our own hands. Yes, katana? They explicitly inherited the sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. No, I know, it's because I asked you to take it. Maybe there's something on it. When I have it on my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. The sword has something. Karuma? That's right, it's a prized sword that has been passed down through generations of the Asagi clan. Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. It can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels the wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. What do you gotta do? Something you gotta do. Yes. I appreciate you seeing it through with me. Oh, of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through until the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. What do you mean by something very important that I didn't have to do? Well, he didn't wake up, so he didn't tell us. Hope the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrive here, but as of yet, we're in episode 7 and nothing. I've yet to not found a single clue. It's probably in the katana. I see. I think we're at a good stopping point. Because now we have a lot of investigation and other stuff to do. I can take a little break, eat some dinner, and relax. So thank you all for coming in, hanging out. Thank you, QB, and everyone else for lurking. Hope you have a good night. So we should finish this case, hopefully, by the next time. The line investigation and the final trial. Don't forget to check out my socials so you can stay up to date on stream changes and even the random stuff I post. If there's a big schedule change, I will post it. And hello, Mr. The Beard, for lurking. Thank you. Like I said, I don't know your preference also, if you like to be called that or not, so I won't say more than that.